Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure. And this is my perspective. So, I wasn't really gonna cover Miss British Williams, but the recent video that I saw on Instagram, really, it's like the accountability dodging that all of these chicks be doing all the time. It's just really mind-boggling. It's disheartening. It's unbelievable. So for those of you who are not aware, British Williams is married. She's married to not married to. She has children by Lorenzo Gordon. Okay. She was on Basketball Wives, I think Basketball Wives LA or whatever, for a couple of seasons, whatever. And so she has recently been found guilty and been sentenced to about 4 years or so in prison for fraud felonies, right? That she had been committing for the past few years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this article so that you all can get caught up. And then I'm going to show you the video, which is really the real reason why I wanted to speak on this. So let's read the article. Basketball Wives, British Williams sentenced, to 4 years in prison for multiple fraud felonies. Okay, this was posted on October the 24th. British Sierra Williams was sentenced to 4 years in prison for her involvement in tax fraud, bank fraud, insurance fraud, and pandemic-related scams. Now, the reason I'm reading this to you is because I want all of you who don't know what's going on to be caught up on what these charges are. The former Basketball Wives star pleaded guilty to 15 felonies, including 5 counts of misuse of a social security number, 4 counts of bank fraud, 3 counts of making false statements to the IRS, and 3 counts of wire fraud, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Missouri said in a statement. British Williams was punished today not for fraud, but for her celebrity. Williams' attorney, Bo Brindley, tells People, which is ridiculous. The court chose to treat her more harshly due to her status as a public figure rather than treating similarly situated defendants equally. Ms. Williams' success is not a crime subject to enhanced penalty, and we will challenge this sentence through every legal means available. In addition to the 4-year prison sentence, Williams, 33, will be on supervised release for 5 years after her release from prison and was ordered to pay $564,069 in restitution. Tuesday's decision follows Brindley's suggestion of an 18-month sentence and the pre-sentence investigation report suggestion of a 63-month prison sentence. You knew what you were doing. You knew it was wrong. You did it anyway. U.S. District Judge Henry Autry told Williams during a sentencing hearing, not only are you out there for people to watch your entertainment, but also for people to watch you. That's a big obligation. In Williams' plea agreement, she admitted to underreporting her income on tax returns for 2017 through 2019, as well as falsely claiming a niece and nephew as dependents, which as a result enabled her to avoid paying $29,366 in taxes. The reality TV star also fraudulently used Social Security numbers not assigned to her to open accounts with credit card companies and banks. Williams did not pay the accounts that she opened, resulting in various victims losing $28,537. The stolen Social Security numbers were also used to commit bank fraud after Williams deposited checks and withdrew the money from the victims, prosecutors said. This caused an additional $23,850 in losses. The Basketball Wives star also submitted 9 applications for economic injury disaster loans, which are intended to help struggling businesses during the pandemic. So, this is like the PPP scams, right? Williams falsified her business income payroll and her criminal history. This resulted in $144,400 from the loans, which she used to fund a lavish lifestyle per her plea agreement. Williams received $52,647 from 4 PPP loans, which are used by small businesses seeking funds to cover up to 8 weeks of payroll costs, including benefits. Williams was indicted in 2021, and since then, she applied for the C-19 rent relief program. So after her indictment in 2021, she continued to fraud. I don't know why she thought that the IRS and the feds was playing with her. I don't know why she thought that they was playing with her. But they certainly were not, because what happens is they'll indict you and then they watch you. They bug everything. They record things. They record your comings and goings. They get any paper trail evidence and all of these sorts of things. And they let you basically give you enough rope to hang yourself, basically. And they wait. The feds will wait for you to make one too many missteps before they come and swoop in, because they want that case against you to be ironclad. Okay? Your guilt is going to be provable in a court of law beyond any reasonable doubt so that you can get a conviction. They get high conviction rates because of this reason. Anyway, she falsely claimed that she was a California resident with a total annual household income of $50,000. And due to the pandemic, she could not pay her rent due to reduction in hours of work. She then received $27,801. Since her 2021 indictment, Williams had not filed annual tax returns and listed herself as exempt on a form with her former radio station employer. This resulted in no taxes being withheld from a $90,000 salary, according to prosecutors. Additionally, she submitted fake medical bills to at least one insurance company, leading her and her co-conspirators, or both, receiving $139,479.92, prosecutors said. Okay, so now after reading that, I want you to listen to this chick talk.
Every day I have this conversation with myself. Every day I say to myself, damn, if I knew these were the consequences to the things that I did to try to survive, I wouldn't have done them. And one thing that I hate that I see is that people's like, oh, she was trying to keep up with the Joneses, or, oh, this is just for her to buy bags and purses. I'm like, no, absolutely not. This was me trying to make sure my sister could finish her master's degree from Northwestern. Me trying to make sure that we didn't lose our house that was in foreclosure. Me trying to make sure that, that we were okay. Lorenzo didn't work for like 3 years. Like, he had went to a point, and a lot of people could probably relate to this if they've dealt with an athlete before. Once they retire, they don't know what to do most of the time. And they go into these depressions where they are just at a point where they don't know what to do. And I wasn't going to just allow the entire family to just fall to the wayside. And I took it upon myself to do things that I didn't think I was going to go have a 9-year sentence for, if that makes any sense, ever. Even some things that I didn't know were illegal, then things that I did know that were illegal, I never would think this would be the consequence.
Did Lorenzo know what you were doing?
Yeah, somewhat. Maybe it might have been some instances that he didn't know anything about, but like most of the time I would say yes. Yeah.
How did you find out this was all going down? Were you contacted by the IRS? Did the feds come to your place of residence?
In 2019, the feds showed up to my house. And they wanted to ask me some questions. And I was like, what?
Were they like in the movies in suits and stuff? Or
They were. It was two of them, and there was 2 investigators, and they started asking me questions. And at first I was like, and then they came back and they wanted to talk, and I recorded the entire thing. Mm-hmm. So I still have it on recording, just as they probably do. And, we had a conversation, and I was like, they were asking me questions. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like what? I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Like whatever it was, if I knew, I knew. But if I didn't, I didn't know. Like I would tell them. And we had that conversation. And then I don't know if it was because of COVID, but 2 years later, I got a call from my lawyer, because I had put a lawyer on retainer just in case if something happened, that like, you've been indicted. And I'm like, I've been indicted. He's like, yeah. He was like, the federal agents came today to my office and asked that we set up a time to turn for you to turn yourself in to be able to do it. And I'm like, okay. So he sends me the indictment. I look through my indictment. I'm like, I'm reading through it like, this is, I'm like, these are the things that they have on my indictment. And I'm like, I'm trying to, the indictment itself was like, I don't know, $45,000 maybe, what they had come up with, because I don't understand how they come up with these numbers. They had, even with my restitution, they said tax evasion. You haven't paid taxes since 2020. But how did you come up with these numbers? How do you know how much I made? Like, I don't get it. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's fucked up. I don't know what other way to put it. This is just every day.
Now, you got to listen to this chick dodge accountability like it was about to cut her head off. You don't know. Several things wrong here. First of all, she's trying to act as if she's some type of hero, right? She's trying to act as if her crimes that she would tell you were victimless. But when you start stealing people's social security numbers and buying things and opening accounts and all of this sort of thing, you ruin those people's names and their credibility along with their credit. They are trying to figure out, where on earth did somebody else get their social security number? That's essentially identity theft, and then opening accounts and all of this sort of stuff that these people have to deal with real consequences. They're trying to get it straightened out on their credit reports. Stuff is coming up. Things get in jeopardy. They're not able to buy things. They're not able to pay. It takes years to straighten out the fallout from identity theft, because among other things, you have to prove that in fact this is a theft and that you yourself are not scamming in some type of way, and then coming back to claim that somebody's stealing from you, or that this is not really you that's opening these accounts and all of this other type of stuff, because your social security number is not supposed to be floating around, right? So you have these people whom you may or may not have ever known who these people were, but you have caused a severe inconvenience and trouble to these people in order to maintain a lifestyle that you don't need to maintain, ma'am. Get a job, work, those basketball wife checks. Do something with that. I don't know if she was invited for new seasons on it or whatever the case may be, but try to parlay your little bootleg reality TV fame and go to another reality show. I don't care what you have to do, as long as, it wasn't something that was criminal and it wasn't something that was affecting other people negatively. I'm not a fan of the reality TV shows, but at least to a certain degree, it can be considered honest work, because at least you're not actively going nowhere stealing from nobody, right? And so not only was she stealing from people, she was stealing from the government, right? So she was doing the PPP loan scams and all these other scams that she was running to get this money. The feds let you know in 2019, she says, that, listen, we are on to you. They don't arrest you right away. You understand? They don't do it. They gather all of the evidence necessary to pretty much be able to get a 100% conviction on you whenever they do haul you in, okay? And officially level the charges against you and start acting on that and taking you through the system. So they are not trying to operate on a maybe you did it, we can't hardly prove it and all like that. They're not operating like that, okay? So she's trying to position herself as some sort of victim. She drags the children's father's name into this. When the guy asked, did he know You were supposed to say, no, he didn't know what I was doing. And the reason why she didn't say no is because they never can take accountability on their own for their own mess. It's got to be a shared accountability. It's got to be shared responsibility. Now, you got to say that man ain't know nothing, even if you think he did, or even if you told him flat out what you was doing, because your children only have one parent now. You're going to jail, ma'am. That's not an if, a, and, or but. You're going. You're going to serve that time. So what you going to cast a bad light on him for? Snitching. A whole snitch out in these streets. Just disloyal all the way around. Okay? I don't know what you dragging him into it for. And then try to make him look bad. Well, you know, I don't know if y'all ever dealt with an athlete, but when they get done playing ball, they don't know what to do with themselves. So what you do is you're supposed to focus your energy on being a support system for you, for him and your children, and not through scamming and stealing from people. Okay? She just didn't want to give up the little bootleg lifestyle that she had come accustomed to living. She was scared that because he was no longer playing ball, he's not bringing in his money, she not going to be able to spend money and do the stuff that she was accustomed to doing. So she was doing any and everything to try to maintain the little money coming in the best way she knew how. She don't know how to pull in no big checks. So she resorted to hood rat scam tactics, credit card scams and such. Then gonna try to sit there. The other thing that she tried to do was sit there and act like the feds is doing something wrong to her. I don't understand where they getting these numbers from. I don't know how they know what I made. You don't know that the government will find out whatever they want to find out if they have a mind to look. So if you are trying to not file taxes, or you are underreporting on your taxes because you think you slick enough to hide income away from the IRS, but really you not, they will audit. They'll start auditing. Or they'll turn over whatever tax records that you have over to the feds. Listen, because that's the paper trail. That's the evidence right there, what you've been doing. The IRS, they got they can pull the application for the PPP loan and the falsified information. All they gotta do is cross-check you. You're not slick. You can't outplay a player. The government is the original thieves. They know how the loopholes and the theft go. They know what you're doing. You didn't even have the good sense to slow down and stop doing that and try to figure out something else once they came to you and let you know, hey, tapped you on the shoulder, say, hey, we watching you. We know what you up to. You was still running the same game like you wasn't ever going to get caught. I mean, I just don't understand how they just coming up with these numbers. Like they pulling them out of thin air. You know how much you got from this scam and that scam? So when you read the indictment and they stipulated everything that they was charging you with and everything that they found out, now you're going to try to sit there in an interview and scrunch your face up like you just don't understand what's going on. And if I had known, so you didn't know that stealing people's identity and their social security and opening false accounts with other people's stuff was wrong. You didn't know that was a crime. Like, if y'all don't get out of here and knock that off, like she needs to truly knock it off. Like, what is going on with this chick? And that's why in the comment section, you know, even the other hyenas was eating her up. Like, okay, what is you doing? If I knew that stealing was a crime, I never would have done it. Like, they just look at her like, what is you doing? Then they said, why'd you snitch on him? Then you already going to jail? So a grown woman talking about she didn't know the consequences of her actions. Girl, go to jail. Okay, girl, why you snitching on him? Go do your time. So you gambled the money away and spent recklessly. Now it's you trying to survive. Was getting a legal job not an option? Girl, bye. Girl, you committed a lot of crimes. So she didn't know stealing could make her go to jail. You weren't trying to survive, ma'am. You wanted to live a lavish lifestyle. These are your run-of-the-mill modern chicks. That's like, excuse me, girl, bye. Because you sitting up here just not even making sense at all. You didn't know. I mean, she's sitting up there trying to act like she just don't really know you know what everybody problem is. Girl, at your big age, you don't know stealing is wrong. They teach you that as a little bitty kid when you go over there and take the other little kid little Lego toy to tell you to get back. You know what you knew full well what you was doing. You was just so arrogant about it that you felt like, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna get caught. And what happened, what that's indicative of is that women don't really be facing consequences for stuff. You know, they be getting away with a lot of foolishness. So they figure, you know, if she sashay around, that Mr. Cartwright in the form of the government was gonna let her go. And he's not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. Because once they told you that you was indicted, you start playing in their face. You gonna keep doing the little PPP loan. You gonna keep on going. Oh, okay. Bet. So you just gonna file false loan, false PPP. Okay. The people was too stupid with that pandemic and that PPP loan stuff. Like the IRS let you get the money, but you don't think they was gonna double back. You didn't think that the IRS was gonna double back on that. Like, and that the government was gonna double back and be like, okay, for everybody that got these PPP loans, like, what's your be like prove it. Prove it. Cause our records show you ain't even really had no business. So now you gotta physically prove this. We want you to submit this, resubmit that. And if you can't provide legitimate paperwork and proof on everything that you told them, oh, baby, bye. So many people was doing them little PPP loans. Too many people approached me like, "Ooh, you should file." I'm not filing nothing. I'm not filing nothing that I'm not supposed to legally be filing. You're not gonna get me in trouble, do you know? It's all good until a year or two later when the government double back and be like, when they spin the block and be like, wait, so whatever. So tell me again about that PPP loan again. You scamming money, talking about you can't pay your rent, girl. These the type of chicks swear they boss chicks. They be scamming. That's how they be getting their little tools and fuse. Scamming, stealing, lying, cheating. And this how they come up with their little money and come up with that, you know, and then trying to stun on somebody like you really, you know, grinded and worked hard to get where you at. Girl, if you don't knock it off, jump down in the comment section and let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.